Hi everybody, I wanted to say hi. Mid-January readings are not out because I've been up to my eyes in immigration paperwork and trying to get things together and doing personal readings. It's only a week at the moment, about a week to get personal readings out at the moment, so I've concentrated on those as well as doing everything. I wanted to check in with you. Robbie and I have been going through some crazy symptoms, Ascension symptoms over the past few weeks, and we want to check with you and we want your feedback as to if this is happening to everybody on a more regular basis, or is it something that just as twins we're experiencing or whatever. But I wanted to check in with it. So let's go with the more common ones that we've got at the moment. We've got the crazy ringing in our ears. Not all the time, but what we have noticed over the past few weeks, especially me, I've been getting vertigo really badly, and I have felt like it's usually with me in the morning when I wake up in the morning, like my head is swimming, like there is water in my head, and when I turn my head there's like a whooshing sound. Don't say it's tinnitus, because I know it's not, because it's not something that's with me all the time. And when more than one person experiences it at the same time, then you know it's not just you. Robbie experienced it as well. He had about 3 days of it where he could, every time he stood up, the room would spin. And he also, at one point, he was sweating, had a flannel stuck on his head, he was pouring with sweat, he was really hot, really dizzy, and it was quite bad. And I had that as well. Now his has died down. Mine has died down now to a certain point. Still getting the ringing in the ears like crazy, the tones, but this actual, it felt like there was water in my head, a cotton wool in there. Hearing was completely muffled, dizziness, complete vertigo actually, which is absolutely horrible, nausea, things like that. That's starting to die down. But over the Christmas period, up until probably a week ago for me, it was pretty crazy, it was pretty bad. So there was that. No sleeping. We all seem to go through that as an Ascension symptom. I'm terrible. I'm awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe get a couple of hours again once I've settled down again. Getting very hot, restless, and this is both of us as well. This is not to say it's not just me going through the menopause. It's nothing like that. Robbie's getting it too. So whether we are just reflecting each other in what comes out, but I think it's actually because we're getting it at the same time ish. It's more than that. It's more like whatever's going on astrologically, or it's the energies, or it's the Schumann resonance. Could be the Schumann resonance. See what's going on. It could be just because more and more the veil is dropping and we are connecting more and more with other parallels, with 3D, 4D, 5D. So those were some of the more normal things that we go through, although this swishing in the head has been horrible, absolutely horrible. By afternoon, it's calmed down, and if I meditate, it calms down as well. I have done a lot of meditating over the past couple of weeks. I've meditated far more than I usually do in order to try and keep balanced with things. We've also had periods where everything's fine and then there's this irritability that's happening. Crazy dreams, very, very vivid dreams that are happening. And then we've had a couple of instances which have been way out of our field. I've been having time bends or time slips. Now I've had them twice, maybe 3 times now in the past month or so, past 6 weeks, which have been really disconcerting because you can't figure it out. There's no logical explanation. We know it's on a spiritual basis. We know something's going on. Took the doggies outside one night for a wee, and I don't know what time it was. Don't know, didn't look, probably about 12 o'clock at night or something. Robbie had fallen asleep on the settee. He'd been busy watching some YouTube video. Now, before I came outside with the dogs, I sort of stood in front of the TV, followed it for a couple of minutes as to what he had been watching, because he's snoozing by this point. Watched what he'd been watching, took the dogs out for a wee, went back inside the house again, and watched exactly what I had watched, word for word, scene by scene, what I'd watched before I went outside. So I repeated it, I watched it again, which really threw me. So I was like, okay, there's some sort of time slip, time bend that's just happened, or I've just been scooted off and abducted, and they've put me back again, and they've put me back in the wrong time space. They've put me back a few seconds or a couple of minutes earlier than they should have done, and therefore I'm watching the same thing on the TV. So that happened, and then only a couple of nights, 3 nights ago, I was listening to stuff on YouTube, got my headphones in. What I usually do at night is I'll listen to I don't know, a podcast or something like that, and then it will lead into a load of binaural beats and meditations that I've got downloaded on my phone, which I will listen to during the night while I'm asleep, because it's going into my subconscious. Anyway, I happen to be listening to Richie from Boston. I don't watch him very often, but he'd said something, he'd come up with something. So I was listening to him, and the video itself was only about 5 minutes long. And I listened, and I'm half asleep. And as I'm listening, he then completely repeated everything he just said and did it again. And as I'm listening to it for a second time, I'm thinking to myself, I just listened to that, he's just repeating himself. The video hadn't restarted itself. There wasn't a glitch in my phone, there wasn't anything, and there was no break in time. I didn't fall asleep and wake up again or anything like that. And I sort of half thought to myself, I'm going to check on that in the morning, and I did. When I got up the next morning, I rechecked that video. He doesn't repeat anything twice. He hasn't cocked up the video and, over edited it or anything like that. It's completely fluid. So that was another time glitch. I think we're all going to start experiencing it this year more than ever. Obviously, me and Robbie experienced the 11:10 to 11:12, jumping over the 11:11 that day last year. So, but this is it feels different. It feels different from that. I'm not sure what it is. So I wanted to check in and see what's going on. There is a lot of orbs flying around at the moment. There is a lot of orbs, shadows, corner of your eye stuff as you look round, either white or dark. And the dark doesn't have to be anything malicious. The dark encompasses all colours, so to me it's positive. The only bad thing I had, which I've had lately, which I did want to mention, which again I think is becoming more aware and becoming more psychically, clairvoyantly, empathically attuned to your surroundings. I went to check on the house next door to us. The old lady there died last year, and we've been looking after the house since she went for her children until they sell it or whatever. So I went over there on my own, as I've done several times before. She was a beautiful old lady. It's a lovely house, nothing going on. But when I walked in last week, in the laundry part of the house, in the laundry room, as I walked in there, somebody was staring at me. It was like somebody was stood in front of me for a split second, like right there, like they stared at me and then they ran off, they disappeared. I didn't physically see them, but I sensed them and I felt them so strong, so strong. It was like they were waiting there, or it was quite a dark presence. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It made me stand back and go, whoa, where I've never felt anything before. It was quite a dark energy. I didn't like it. But it was literally like, as I walked up to it was like, if I could have imagined them standing there, they would have been standing there. They would have been this far away from my face, and then they just would have disappeared, split. Or that feel, you know, that feeling you get when somebody's been in a room and then they've left the room a split second before you've arrived in that room. It sort of felt like that. You knew there was a presence there. I knew it was there. So I ended up going over with my sage. I come back, told Robbie about it. I said, we need to go ghost busting. We need to go and sort this out over there, because I'm not. So I got my sage. Well, I got his sage actually, because I literally burnt his. He had about half of what I've got, and I literally burnt the lot over there. I stood in the middle of the room. I stated out loud that I'm a sovereign being. I am free. I'm under the protection of Archangel Michael. I'm a twin flame, and no being, no presence can affect me. And I stood really, I felt a little bit silly saying it out loud, but I did. It's the first time I'd done anything like that, sort of done a clearance in a house. But I did that, told them the universe and source were on my side, and I love them very much, but they need to step back and they need to go to the light and they need to be transmuted. They're not welcome there. So I did that. We saged the whole of the house and everything's fine now. But it may just have been that as my energies grow, I'm just picking up on more and more stuff around me. And obviously if you meditate a lot, your aura is expanding, your aura is growing, which then allows you to be in contact with your higher self, higher consciousness and other beings that are around you. So yeah, I wanted to mention it. I want to see what's going on with you, what your ascension symptoms are, or what the energies, how the energies are affecting you, because they seem to be, 2019 seems to be a little bit different, especially this vertigo thing. That's awful. So if anybody's got what's been going on with you, if you've been experiencing anything like this lately, anything different, and if you've got any explanations of your own as to what it could be as well, because a couple of these ascension symptoms are very new to us. We've gone through, multitudes of ascension symptoms and purging and clearing and healing and all sorts, but there seems to be a new aspect now coming around for us, especially sort of seeing things or feeling things that we shouldn't. And these time slips, these time bends that I'm experiencing, are are not particularly, you know, I'm not having a panic attack about it or freaking out about it in particular. I'm just like, whoa, okay, here we go again. Here's another one. What's happening? What's going on with it? You know, have I just been taken off somewhere by aliens, good beings, something, and they've dropped me back down at the wrong time, so I'm re-seeing things? Or is it just some sort of glitch, some sort of, I've slipped over into fourth or fifth dimension for a minute and then come back again very quickly? You know, slipped a parallel, changed a timeline for a second and come back. So yeah, I would like your comments. Please let me know how you're doing. Let me and Rob, you know, Robbie definitely wanted me to mention the ringing in the ears, but it's more than ringing in the ears now. It's like muffled ears sometimes, where suddenly your hearing's fine and then suddenly it goes muffled. And this swishing, this dizziness, which has been quite bad recently. It seems to be getting a little bit better now. And it definitely seems to be, I will wake up with it in the morning, or it's around in the morning, and then by afternoon, providing I've meditated, providing I've drank lots of water, it disappears again. So yeah, okay. Let me know, and any of your own thoughts, your own explanations, would be wonderful, because we can compile it, we can, you know, have a look at each other's comments, compare notes, that sort of thing, and see what's going on with all of us, and see, you know, and if we're having it on certain dates, if you remember the dates that it was happening to you, put it down below. Maybe the Schumann resonance was really high on that day. Maybe we're getting solar flares, something in the region of that, and that was raising the energies, and that's what was happening to us. But okay, so yeah, I'm going to do another video actually on psychic diets, which I thought would be a fun one to do, especially around this time, around New Year, while we're still in January. But yeah, comments would be brilliant. Namaste, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.